If you're late to this news, California's Great America's days are numbered. So let's talk about what could happen going forward. What's up guys, Dr. Coaster here and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the future of California's Great America and most importantly, what's in store for its collection of 9 roller coasters. Before we dig deeper into this gut-wrenching news, if you haven't already, then be sure to drop the video a like, as it helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. While you're at it, subscribe to the channel as well for more roller coaster and theme park content just like this. On Monday, June 27, 2022, the theme park world took a serious blow as news came out of Cedar Fair that they had sold the land that California's Great America sits on to a Bay Area real estate company for the price of $310 million. Cedar Fair will continue to operate the park for the next 11 years remaining on the park's lease, while supposedly slowly dialing back operations leading up to the permanent closure of the park. If you're wondering why that is, I'll be sure to link this article down in the description. But the gist of it is, after 40 years of leasing the land, the city of Santa Clara sold us to Cedar Fair in 2019 for $150 million. And Cedar Fair has turned around, post-pandemic mind you, when all of California was shut down for nearly a year and a half, after not even 2 operating seasons, and more than doubled their investment. Obviously, the idea of losing yet another theme park is not a fun one whatsoever, especially when it's one that has operated for so long. Understandably, many people are going to want to know what happens to the rides, so let's try to reason through what the future of its coasters might look like. First off, some quick basic reasoning behind the decisions that I made. I don't see Cedar Fair selling any of these coasters to Six Flags or SeaWorld parks, so that leaves us with the relocations within the chain, or selling them off to other independent parks or any other chains not previously mentioned. It obviously wouldn't make sense for Cedar Fair to bolster their main competitors' lineups. Okay, now let's get on to the coasters. Let's start out with the kiddie coasters and work our way up, beginning with Lucy's Krabby Cabbies. No, not Krabby Patties, but it might as well be, as enthusiasts flip like a fry cook when they're able to nab this forbidden credit. This is one of those coasters where you're typically required to have a child with you to ride it per park policy. This is just your typical E&F kiddie coaster that many parks have already, including those in the Cedar Fair chain. The company could easily use this coaster for parts and ship it across the country for various Peanuts-themed E&F coasters, but for convenience's sake, I say they ship it down the road to Gilroy Gardens to throw them a bone. They only have 2 coasters, and this fits the audience of the park quite well. Just retheme it to nature and you've got yourself another fun ride for families to enjoy. Moving on to Woodstock Express, and this is one of the few remaining children's coasters created by Intamin, so it's going to be a shame that this one isn't saved. With its age, however, I'd imagine this will either be scrapped or sent to a park outside of the chain for cheap. I'm not going to give a single specific park for this one, but expect it to go somewhere like an Enchanted Forest up in Oregon or one of the many small FEC type parks across California. I just don't see this one surviving the sale of the park. Psycho Mouse, on the other hand, should be an easy relocation. Now, Cedar Fair could also opt to use this for parks as well, since they operate several of these across the chain, but plenty of parks could use a Wild Mouse. If they've got the room, I think this would be a perfect fit for Adventure City down in Anaheim. The park currently offers a family coaster with Rewind Racers and an E&F kiddie coaster with Freeway Coaster, so Psycho Mouse would fit this market well. Adventure City was actually once home to an old school Wild Mouse named Treetop Racers that operated from 1999 to 2012, so this could serve as an ounce of nostalgia for longtime park goers. If not Adventure City, then expected to get the Firehawk treatment and be used for parts at Michigan's Adventure and Valley Fair for their Aero Wild Mouse coasters that they have. Now that we've addressed the family and kiddie coasters, let's go ahead and axe a few coasters that I just don't see surviving beyond the park. Up first on the list is everybody's favorite wooden coaster at the park, Grizzly. Opening in 1986, this Woody has provided guests with absolutely zero airtime for over 3.5 decades now. As much as I kid about this ride, it still remains pretty popular at the park, according to my friends that live in the area, and they thoroughly enjoy riding it. But I can't imagine somebody out there disassembling Grizzly only to ship it elsewhere and rebuild it once again. Ride this coaster while you can, because I think its days are definitely numbered. The next 2 coasters on the axe list have a caveat. There's ways they can indeed be saved, but it's gonna take a few other things to happen first, or involve some serious commitment on the part of the rescuing park. Demon is the first of the 2 that I believe could be saved. This aero looping coaster has been at the park since it opened, and a lot of the same model have begun disappearing from the face of the earth lately. Some definitely celebrate to see these old aero coasters vanish, but I know plenty of aero rider dies that mourn the loss of these rides. If Demon is to be saved, I think there's only one man that's willing to do it. Gene Staples. Now, I don't think this coaster would be the best fit at Indiana Beach, but it could fit perfectly at Niagara Amusement Park. Gene Staples' knack for maintaining classic amusement parks and rides would make Demon a wonderful addition here. Now, if you're a total coaster nerd, you're probably thinking, but what about Viper at Darien Lake and Steam and Demon at Great Escape? And you would be 100% correct that these are very similar rides. But I have a hard time believing Viper will last much longer at Darien Lake, and to be brutally honest, the park doesn't operate much anyways, and who knows how long the park's got on its own. Great Escape is also nearly 5 hours away, so while Demon's going to require nearly a 100% ideal scenario to be saved, the same can be said for the next coaster. Hold on to your butts. Gold Striker. I know, this one is probably the most painful of the coasters at the park to have to separate from. Like Grizzly, this is going to be difficult to save. While Gold Striker is an elite wooden coaster that anyone would love to have at their home park, it's likely bye-bye once the park closes its gates for good in 11 years. In my quest to find a home for Gold Striker, I do believe I found a few parks ambitious enough to try, but the question is, will they? And does Gold Striker fit the vision of their parks going forward? The first of the two parks is Codaland, located in Austin, Texas. This park has been making some noise within the last year, as they announced Palindrome, the first Gerstlauer Infinity shuttle coaster to come to the US, as well as the very recent announcement of their new age Vekoma tilt coaster, Circuit Breaker, which is the first major next-generation Vekoma to make its way to America. Codaland is beyond ambitious, and a coaster like Gold Striker could give them one of the strongest top 3s around. And who knows what will be added to the park before then. Also potentially in the market to save Gold Striker could be Lost Island, another brand spanking new park that just opened this month in Waterloo, Iowa. This park has plenty of room for expansion, and ownership plans on doing so. Just like Codaland, Lost Island is extraordinarily ambitious, as this park shot up out of the cornfields seemingly overnight. They could retheme this as something like a super creative mythical creature and fit right into the pretty insane coaster lineup that they are currently building. If Gold Striker wants to live another day, it's gonna need some pretty ambitious buyers. I just don't see Cedar Fair relocating this themselves. Okay, you can take a deep breath now, because I don't see any of the other coasters left on this list getting the boot. Let's move on to the park's pair of B&Ms. There's just too many parks out there that could still use a decent B&M, even if it's considered mediocre by many. Both Flight Deck and Patriot would make excellent coasters for Cedar Fair to keep in-house and ship to other parks in the chain. So let's check out what parks could benefit from a solid but overlooked invert and an older yet fun standout to floorless conversion. If the chain wanted to be really funny, they could remove Nighthawk from Carowinds and replace it with Patriot, removing a relocated ride from California's Great America with a new one, right next to Vortex, a near clone of Patriot's previous form, which was also Vortex. Now, this won't happen, but realistically speaking, I could see Cedar Fair sending both of these rides to their favorite parks to relocate coasters to. Dorney Park already has both of these models, but Valley Fair and Michigan's Adventure like both of them. Let's send Patriot to Michigan's Adventure and Flight Deck to Valley Fair. If Michigan's Adventure was to remove Thunderhawk, then these could honestly just be interchangeable. These parks need more attention, and both of these rides would elevate both of their lineups. Valley Fair's last major addition was Renegade in 2007, and Michigan Adventure beats them out by just 1 year when they got a relocated SLC and Thunderhawk. It's about time, Cedar Fair. And lastly, this leaves us with the decision of what to do with Railblazer, one of the original RMC Raptors. This is another coaster I don't see Cedar Fair parting ways with very easily, but it certainly could draw some decent offers from other parks. If it was to remain in the chain, however, I think it'll end up at Dorney Park, to go on Stinger's old plot of land. I could also see this ending up at Worlds of Fun to replace their Boomerang, or perhaps as an entire new addition elsewhere in the park. As for outside parks showing interest, if Cedar Fair decided to part ways with it, I could see Fun Spot America swooping in and plopping it down to any other 3 parks. They seem pleased to continue working with RMC, and this would fit their park's markets and capacities perfectly. CGA, it's been real. And although you will soon be gone, most of your coasters and the memories they've created should last much, much longer. As for me, I already had loose plans in place to visit within the next year, and those have now become much more urgent, and I hope they have for everyone else as well. Make it out to California's Great America while you can. Thank you all for watching. That was my take on the future of the coasters at California's Great America. What do you think will happen to these coasters? Let me know in the comments down below, as well as your thoughts on the sudden news out of Cedar Fair. If you haven't already, be sure to drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel as well for more roller coaster and theme park content just like this. We are officially on the climb to 1,000 subscribers, and I would really appreciate your support. If you want to follow me on Instagram as well, then you can find me there at Dr_Coaster. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.